of Macmillan Education's Global Teachers Festival 2025. We kicked off what was the late afternoon, early evening for me with session 1 earlier. I'm not sure if any of you attended. You're going to see the same thing again. Maybe you missed something at the beginning of that, so welcome back. If not, for all you newbies, come on in, welcome, and enjoy what we have for you for the next 90 plus minutes. I assure you, you will not be wasting your time today. There's lots of juicy content to get through with our 2 expert speakers, Emma and Lorena. Today, we are always talking about mindfulness and wellness and how that can facilitate into a healthy classroom with healthy students and happiness. So my name is Blue Melia, and I am the teacher trainer and academic consultant for Macmillan Education in the Southeast Asia region. Hello, everyone in Uruguay, Peru. I'm seeing a lot of Perus there. Indonesia, good evening to you. I'll give you some clues about my whereabouts. I did mention I'm in the Southeast Asia region, so that's the first clue. It's coming up to 9 p.m. where I am. The country that I live in is famous for motorbikes on the roads and pho in the restaurants. So have a guess in the chat where you think I am located. Kazakhstan, Peru, Ukraine, good morning, good evening, good afternoon to everybody. I'm trying to scroll down. There's so many messages to keep on top of. Vietnam is a good guess. I am indeed living in Vietnam. I've been living here for the past 16 years of my life. It's home and I love it very much. So wherever you are in the world, welcome to the session. Are you up late like me? It's 9 p.m. Maybe it's an early morning for where you are, or maybe it's early morning where you are, if you're sort of Australia way. But wherever you are in the world, I do welcome you to today's session. Now, let me share my screen. Hopefully everything works accordingly. There you go. Hopefully you can all see that. Global Teachers Festival 2025. And as I mentioned, we are on day 3. Looking ahead to days 4 and 5, Thursday and Friday, we've got critical thinking coming up and also the journey. Journey in the sense of maybe how you sort of build things together. Maybe it's grammar. Maybe it's the mastery of English and what brings it all together. And do not worry, of course, if you did happen to miss Monday and Tuesday's sessions, they will be available for you to watch and catch up on. And I'm sure we're going to be inundated with questions in the chat about where's my goodie bag? Where's my certificate? Well, fret not. You will receive your goodie bag at the end of this session. We have all of your details, but also in terms of receiving the certificate and the recordings of the sessions, please be patient and they will be sent within the week to your email. Any issues, any problems, feel free to reach out and the email address is stated on the screen. Now, as I mentioned, it's day 3. It's Wednesday, the 12th of February, and we're talking about mindfulness and well-being. And we have 2 fantastic speakers for you today. We have Emma, first and foremost. In a moment, she'll be talking about meditation and how you can sort of use meditation as a tool, not just in your teaching life, but life as a whole as well. So certainly stay tuned for Emma. It's very, very interesting. And for me personally, watching this morning, very insightful. Followed by Lorena. She'll be up later and she talks about bringing calmness into your classrooms and how calmness can lead to happy learners and also you guys, the teachers, how you can bring happiness to yourself as well. So here is our first speaker, Miss Emma Reynolds. Welcome, Emma. Have a read of Emma's bio that is on the screen now. Emma, the thing that jumps out to me here is, of course, that word mindfulness and your expertise in that area. Please tell us in a nutshell how mindfulness lends itself to teaching and students and ultimately happiness.
Well, thank you very much, Blue. Good question. I think possibly all of the teachers might agree at some point in their career, they will have asked their students to concentrate. Please, can you concentrate? Their minds will be wandering all over the place. They might be chatting or moving around. Because if you can't get your students to concentrate and be in the room, how can they learn anything, right? But my question to the teachers is, have you ever considered teaching your pupils how to concentrate? In fact, do you know how to concentrate yourselves? Because it's actually very difficult to stay in the same place at the same time and stay focused all the time. So meditation is really about learning how to train your awareness to stay in one place. And that's very useful in a classroom situation.
Yes, it certainly is, Emma. And also, another quick question. We had a number of questions this morning about young learners and teens. So this approach of mindfulness and meditation, would you say it lends itself across the board, regardless of age?
Absolutely. I think you can obviously you have to tailor the work to different age groups, but from the age of 3 or 4, you can have kids learning to just be connected to their breath and notice their breathing or name their emotional state, which is very powerful because obviously it's quite overwhelming to be, suddenly very angry or frustrated, and to show them some of the techniques I'll be talking about today, how to just basically self-regulate. And anyone on this planet who's got a busy mind, which is just about everybody, could do with learning of these very simple tools, how to come back to the present moment and look after yourself. So yeah, through all age groups, it's useful.
Wonderful. Final question, Emma, before I hand over to you. City break or beach holiday?
Oh, beach holiday.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Emma, the stage is yours. Best of luck. I'll be enjoying from backstage. All the best.
Lovely. Thank you very much. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Macmillan. It's lovely to see you all here and to have you with me today. I'm just going to bring up my presentation for you. So as you may have seen, I'm a mindfulness meditation teacher, and I'm back yet again just to talk to you through a few practical things that you can bring into the classroom preliminary for yourself, but possibly you might even want to adapt these for your students, whatever age group they are. Okay. So I'm not going to talk a lot today about the theory of meditation and mindfulness per se, but I'm going to just allow you to experience these practices and see for yourselves how you feel. Okay, so please get on board and join us. We can talk about meditation and mindfulness forever, but it will not change anything. The only thing that will change ways of being and habits is by actually doing the practices. So if you're ready, let's begin with one right now. So I invite you to sit up straight, put your feet flat on the floor, so uncross your legs. Sit up straight. You might consider sitting almost like a king or a queen on their throne. Okay, so you're nice and upright, just allows you to breathe deeply into the diaphragm. You can just put your hands, you just rest them on your lap, and you might want to just tuck in your chin a little bit. We often have a tendency to be up like that. Just allows the breath to move easily down the tubes. Okay, and if it's okay for you right now to close your eyes, please do so. Otherwise, you might like to just lower your gaze. And we're going to do something called a stop practice. STOP. Okay, so the first part of it is S, which is for stop. So closing your eyes, sitting up straight. This is the beginning of starting to do something new. Perhaps you've had a busy morning or evening or wherever you are in the day. Just stop and notice what it feels like to just close your eyes and to turn off that sense. So we spend a lot of time looking. So what a relief it is to just close one's eyes. Then let's turn to T, which is take some conscious breaths through the nose. It's so much better to breathe through the nose than the mouth. So what I mean by that is, can you, as you breathe in, be aware of the breath in your nostrils. As it goes through the body, you might notice the chest move a little bit. And if it feels okay for you, place your hand on your belly button or just above your belly button and feel your breath moving in your body. So this helps us connect to the breath. So as you breathe in, can you feel your hand moving up and out? And as you breathe out, the hand slowly drops back and in. So let's just see if we can follow the breath for, let's say, 3 breaths. So breathing in, feeling that movement of the breath, and then letting the breath out. You can let the breath out through your mouth or your nose, okay? It's very simple. You don't have to do anything extravagant with the breath, just following the breath all the way in, allowing the breath to be deep, and all the way back out again. Okay, I'll talk more later on about why the breath is so powerful for helping us with our stress. But just for now, just enjoy being connected to your breathing. And if you find your mind wandering, it's completely normal. Just smile to yourself. You're learning something new. It's okay. And just come back to the next in-breath and the next out-breath. Great. Now we're going to turn to the O of stop, which is observe your emotions in the body. So another word for emotions is feelings, right? Because we feel our emotional state. So let's first of all connect with how you're feeling. So literally just ask yourself this question: how am I? And just see what bubbles up. You might just notice you're a little bit stressed or anxious. Maybe you're a bit jittery and excited. Maybe you're tired. Maybe you're worried. Maybe you're a bit sad. Maybe you're happy. Maybe you're quite neutral. So just noticing how you are. This is really important. This is what being mindful is about, is becoming aware of yourself in the present moment without judgment. And as I say, you can feel emotions. So can you connect your emotional state with perhaps a sense of that in the body? So perhaps you feel, I don't know, maybe you're a bit anxious and you discover that your stomach is a bit knotted. Or perhaps you're a little bit frustrated. Maybe your jaw is tight or your shoulders are tight. Or maybe you notice something else. Maybe, your lower back is tight, your hips are tight. Maybe there's something going on in your arms, your legs. People can manifest these feelings in different places, but the usual ones are jaw, throat, chest, back, belly. So again, you don't need to do anything about this. We're simply becoming aware. And as you become aware of that tension in the body, just see if you can imagine breathing into those spaces. Maybe even breathing out with a sigh as you start to invite the body to soften and let go a little bit. So there's nothing wrong with discovering that you're a bit anxious or a bit tight in the body. What we're doing now is just listening to the body and inviting that breath to just soften anything that really doesn't need to be working right now. Okay, so allowing the body to relax a little. Don't worry if you find it hard to concentrate. Once you notice, oh, I've wandered off, that is your golden opportunity to come back to the next in-breath. Okay. And then finally, the P of the stop practice is proceed. So proceeding into your day, you stopped, you were on maybe high alert, you've stopped, you've looked after yourself, you've come to your breath, you've noticed your emotional state, how your body's reacting. And now what do you need? Can you just go back into your day? Do you need to take a sip of water, go to the toilet, eat something, stretch? Or if you were having a difficult conversation and this is what provoked you in the first place, can you imagine now with this new, hopefully calmer state of mind, you can go back in and actually say what you need to say? Maybe sometimes it's difficult to speak out, or maybe sometimes you get overwhelmed by emotions and you end up arguing or being pushy or whatever. What would it be like to now go back into a conversation with this sense of more presence, more calm, a little bit more wisdom? Okay, so gently bring some movement to the body, maybe just have a little stretch, roll your shoulders. Okay, and tell me, I'm very interested to hear, how are you feeling? Do you notice any difference from before we began that? Okay, now don't worry if you didn't feel relaxed. I hope you did. But this is a practice. We're starting to do possibly something really new that you've never done before. So it sometimes takes a little bit of time, because sometimes we've been running at 100 miles an hour for a very long time. To suddenly stop, put the brakes on, it can be something that we need to practice. So I'm feeling, it's all speeding up here. Calm down, feeling relaxed. Some people are finding no change. That's okay. Maybe you weren't very tense to begin with. And sometimes it's just literally nice to take a break, lighter, peaceful. Yeah. So there's a stop practice. That is something that you could potentially bring into your classroom. Why not? I'm sure your pupils would love it. So we're really exploring today how we can learn to deal with stress and anxiety. So I invite you right now to just tell me, what are the sort of things in your work day that get you going? Is it surprise workload? Is it exam pressure? You know, what gets you going? No names, please, about people, but just literally, what is your sort of top three things that really gets you stressed out? Because clearly, stress is part of our daily lives, and it isn't. There's nothing wrong with stress per se. It's the thing that gets us going in the morning, right? It pushes us on to do things. It's when we get out of balance and our stress levels get so high and we're on them on a continual basis, that's incredibly toxic for the body because we're pushing our body on when it really doesn't want to be pushed on in that way. And much of it is driven by our mental state, which we'll be exploring today a little bit. Yeah, so I'm seeing expectations, workload, tension with colleagues, yeah, meeting goals, parents. I mean, what isn't on the list, really? Okay, good. Thank you for that. So I'm just going to move along here because I really want to give you time for some more practices. But stress and anxiety is actually something called our fight and flight mechanism. I'm sure many of you will know what this is, but every animal on the planet has it. We're walking along and everything is okay. And then suddenly we look down and I don't know, we suddenly think maybe, oh my God, I don't know, if you're in the countryside, there's a snake in the grass, for example. And in that moment, we get a message from the amygdala to say, we need to go on high alert because we might have to go into survival mode right now. We might have to run, we might have to fight, hence fight and flight and freeze as well. There's a few different names for it, but let's just keep it simple for today. And as you can see, there's a whole rake of things that happen to your body. It can happen like that in milliseconds. And so some of those things that you associate with your stress and anxiety are actually, of course, your body's natural response to a perceived threat. So, if you imagine when you're angry, what do you feel like? You feel hot, you feel tense, you're getting ready, you might be clenching your jaw, your heart might be beating fast, your stomach might be tightening up and a whole rake of other things that can be affected. Your sleep patterns might get changed, etc., etc. This is fight and flight. Now, clearly, if you had to run away from a snake or fight a snake, how many times does that happen? I know, but you know what I mean. It's a useful mechanism that all animals have, but the problem is that it's overworked because now what sends us into fight and flight? All those things that you've just mentioned, right? Overworking yourself, deadlines, parents dealing with tricky children, etc., etc. Very quickly, like that, we can be sent into the fight and flight mechanism. But it's actually unnecessary in those scenarios. In actual fact, those are the moments when we want to keep calm and keep under control. And we want to be in the other side of what you can see on the slide there, which is rest and digest, where everything is just okay. So, life, we can't control many things in the exterior world. If you can change it, go ahead, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody. But many things we can't control. So the only thing that we can control is how we perceive it, right? How we look at it, and therefore how we also process it through our body. And the beauty of meditation is that this is the tool to get yourself back across into fight and flight. And when I say meditation, I don't necessarily mean, like, as you've seen, a 30-minute meditation that you've got to download on an app. It can literally be, let me just take a little moment out of my busy schedule to just notice how I am, regulate myself with my breath, slow down the nervous system, and put myself into rest and digest. Okay? This is very simple terms here, but I just, like I say, haven't got so much time to explain all the theory today, and that's okay. Not only do we have like real so-called threats, like, work that we weren't expecting, but the other problem is that our minds wander. There have been various studies that show that our mind wanders maybe even 47% of the time, okay? Now, where does our mind wander? Into the past. Oh, if only I'd done this, now would be better. If only this shouldn't have happened, something else should have happened, that person shouldn't have done this, or I shouldn't have done that. But that past is unchangeable. And in actual fact, there's many studies that prove that actually even our memory is quite false. Every time we bring a memory up, we change it slightly and adapt it. So our memories can't be completely trusted. It's a mechanism, it's for learning and processing information so that we can do better next time. But when that gets out of control and we're constantly stuck in the past, going round and round in circles, it's not very good for us, because it actually makes our body think that we are actually in a threat situation. And guess what? We go back into fight and flight unnecessarily, just thinking about the past. And the same with the future. Now, as teachers, you spend a lot of time planning, organizing, worrying about, thinking how this thing is going to go, etc., etc. Again, there's nothing wrong with planning, but it's when we get into that out of balance point where we can't control the mind anymore, and it's just flying about all over the place and bringing back worrisome thoughts after worrisome thoughts about how this thing isn't going to go well. Again, brings us into fight and flight mechanism. Okay, so what we're looking at in meditation is how we can bring this mind that wants to float about all over the place, which is unfocused, into focus. And that connects with what I was talking about before about the classroom experience. Don't you want your students to be focused so that they are present, so that they can learn? And don't you want to be focused as well, so that you can deal with whatever's going on in front of you in a calm way? This is what we're going to be looking at. Okay, so we've got these states of mind, but we can do something about it all. Okay, so here's a lovely little practice we can do right now. How do we bring ourselves back into the present moment? Well, thoughts are conceptual, okay? They don't actually exist. We can think and think and think about a chocolate cake, but it won't appear until one actually physically appears in the room. But thoughts can feel really real, can't they? But they're not actually, they are happening, but they're not actually necessarily true. This terrible thing that we predict is not actually happening until it happens, which it may or may not happen. Okay, so it's very, very open to interpretation, but often we get caught up in believing our thoughts. So what we can do is we can bring ourselves to the senses, because the senses can only be experienced in the present moment. Okay, you can't hear something from yesterday or tomorrow. You can only hear what's happening now. And this brings us very clearly and very succinctly into the present moment. So the senses are our escape route from mental chat. So I invite you now to become really curious, okay? It's another part of mindfulness. Be curious with your environment for a moment and just choose a color. So it might be, let's say, blue, doesn't have to be, but just have a look around your space for a moment and see if you can find 5 different blues, maybe 5 different tones of blue as well, so dark to light. Okay? And notice if the mind is wandering off into an email or something you've got to do later on today, and just choose to bring it back. Just become really interested. And as you start to look around, you may start to realize, gosh, there's actually lots of things in my space that I haven't noticed before. And there's a certain joy sometimes in just discovering that. Much of our lives can be like wallpaper. We just don't notice it anymore. And this is an invitation to start waking up to the things that are around us. Okay. So now close your eyes and just become aware of the sensations in your body. So I'm just going to talk you through a couple. So can you become aware of, I don't know, let's start with your feet. Can you become aware of the weight of your body pressing down onto the soles of your feet? Notice perhaps the pressure of the shoes or the socks. What you're training here is your focus. So again, if you're wandering off, just come back to those sensations. Can you really hone your focus into your big toe? Just notice that. Okay. Take a deep breath. Let go of that. Become aware of the bottom on the seat. Feel the weight of gravity pushing you down into your seat. Also, you can become aware of how the seat is supporting you right now. And isn't it interesting? You can put your focus where you want to put it. And that's another one of your really superpowers, is that, yeah, I might have a busy mind, but right now I'm just going to become aware of my body. That takes me out of all that negative thinking into the present moment. Now, can you become aware of your hands? And perhaps you notice the weight of your hands in your lap. Can you feel, I don't know, the temperature in the room, for example? Can you feel the sensations inside your hands? So maybe there's a slight feeling of aliveness there, like a throbbing, pulsing. All these things that are going on all day long that you've maybe never noticed before. And maybe one other thing you can notice, just noticing your breath again. So feeling that breath moving in and out. Great. And now let's turn towards 3 sounds. So this is a great one to do with your students. If you don't do anything else, just sometimes asking them to close their eyes and become aware of sounds. That can bring a sense of calm to the room. And then becoming aware of 2 smells if you can. Might be tricky, this one. See how you get on. And finally, 1 taste in the mouth. Great. And then just taking a long, slow, deep breath in, breathing out. And when you're ready, just opening your eyes again. So what did you notice from that experience? Literally, what could you hear? What could you smell? What could you feel? But also, how do you feel from doing that practice? Was it pleasant to just take a moment out to connect with your senses? As I say, this is something, it's so simple. You know, you literally set the class practice to do, and just for 30 seconds, you know, 15 seconds, you can just choose to tune into sounds around you, and that will take you away from all the busyness and bring you back into the present moment. Yeah, so people are saying relaxed, more focus, feel relieved. Yeah, I mean, they're, like I say, practices in the pocket, very tiny little things that you can just bring in. Super, thank you. Okay, so this next one, I put there as the title, The Body Keeps the Score. It is the name of a wonderful book that I highly recommend. But what I'm talking about here is sort of twofold, really. Firstly, that when we, all day long, we've discovered through neuroplasticity and neuroscience that all day long, when we are having experiences, whatever they are all impacting on our brains, okay, the grey matter. And they've discovered that we can change our habits by doing new things. Of course, if you've ever tried to learn to play the piano at the beginning, you're not very good at it. Little by little, the brain starts to recognize, oh, you need hand-to-eye coordination, and it starts to grow new neural pathways to allow you to get better at practicing this new thing called playing a piano. And so it is with us with all our habits as well. So if you have a habit to get frustrated when no happens, that person turns up, that situation happens, you've created very quick neural pathways. That information shoots across your brain, and in a millisecond, the event has happened or the person has appeared, and you are already acting in a certain way, almost unconsciously. So what we're inviting ourselves to do here is start to become aware of our patterning and start to change it. And as we start to change it, we start to create new neural pathways. And as we create those new neural pathways, our habitual ways of thinking start to change, and we start to create an upward spiral, because new ways of being start to become available to us. The more we practice them, the more available they are. The more available, the more we practice them, and round up it goes. Okay? Does that make sense to everyone? So let's practice doing something else, which is becoming aware of how our body is also holding all the tension of the day. And not just today, but, you know, though all those days, all those years, and even they now discover it's not just us, but it also comes through our genes, through our parents, our grandparents, certain ways of being, certain tensions that we can hold in the body, okay? The body is not wrong. It's the most incredible alarm clock. So stress and anxiety isn't incorrect. We just treat it incorrectly. It's actually a huge wake-up call because your body is saying, hello, I'm out of balance. Please put me back into balance. And these practices are the way to do that, to self-regulate. So please close your eyes or lower your gaze, sit up, and just again, connect. Connect to your breath, okay? Feel that breath moving in the nostrils. Maybe again, a hand on the belly, just to allow you to connect for a moment. So just inviting you to notice your body. So let's go to the feet again and notice the feet. Now, feet are usually pretty neutral, so it's a good place to go if you're feeling stressed. Literally, let me come to my feet. You're in the supermarket, you're in the classroom, I'm feeling overwhelmed. Let me just concentrate on my feet for a moment. Literally, it grounds you back into the present moment, okay? Now feeling the bottom on the seat. And now let's check in with those zones which can hold tension. So just noticing how your hips are. And you might want to just imagine breathing into those spaces, giving some oxygen, some air into any places of tension. Maybe in your stomach, there's some tightness there. It's often a place people feel their anxiety. So just noticing what's here right now, no judgment, simply becoming interested and curious. Breathing in, breathing out. Moving up, maybe just checking in with the heart space, the chest. Breathing in and noticing how that is, how the throat is today. Noticing the shoulders, maybe allowing the shoulders to drop back and down, melting back. Maybe they're ice at the moment and they can start to become water-like, just as you're breathing. And into the jaw, perhaps you want to just open your mouth a little and let your jaw soften, especially as teachers talking all day long. What's it like? And you may notice that effect going through the back and the neck as you open your mouth a little. And coming to your eyes, even if you've got your eyes closed, just becoming aware of the muscles around the eyes, the forehead, the scalp. As you breathe in and out, can anything just let go a little bit? Okay, and then just taking one last big breath all the way in, deeply into the belly, and breathing out. So I'm going to roll over into another little practice, which is just to become aware, we become aware of the body and now how we can actually allow the body to relax a little bit. So you might want to, if you've got glasses on, you might want to take them off a moment, keep your eyes closed and just allow, I want you to do this very slowly, so micro movements, okay? Allow your head, if it's okay for you, to drop forward a little bit. The minute you start to feel any tension or tightness, just pause and breathe, okay? Many of us hold tension in the neck and the shoulders. So we're not forcing the body in any way. We are literally listening to it. It's been holding all this tension. And as we breathe deeply, imagining sending the breath into any tightness and tension, you may notice that the body naturally starts to relax and let go a little bit. Once it's softened, you may like to explore moving the head further down. The minute you feel tension again, just pause. It should be delicious, this, okay? It's nothing, we're not forcing anything. It should be a relief to just breathe into those places of tension and let go. So some of you may be halfway, some of you may be all the way down to the ground now. I mean, looking down to the ground rather. So now, in your own time, you may just explore moving your head very slowly around, okay? This is not an exercise class. This is not about anything other than becoming really deeply interested in the body, noticing the muscles that have to move, breathing deeply, and just inviting the shoulders to soften. And in your own time, obviously, everybody's got a different body, so just moving the head really slowly from side to side, taking those deep breaths. And then if it's okay for you, coming up again with the head. And then just in these last few moments, still with your eyes closed, you might want to roll your shoulders. You might want to have a stretch, maybe bring your arms up into the air or twist and look behind you. But don't just notice if the mind takes over and you start to flip off into ideas and thoughts again, and come back into the body. Become really curious with all the things the body has to do, all the muscles, just to move ever so slightly, all the parts of the body that magically just work for you to create movement. Okay, so that helps you with that curiosity. And maybe just to finish, you might like to just bring your hands to your face and just give yourself a little bit of a massage. Bring your hands to around your ears and massage that jaw. Maybe even do a little yawn. You maybe want to take that into the scalp, give yourself a little head massage. How many of you dream of having a masseur on hand without realizing you can be your own masseur? So just giving your shoulders a little rub, still staying with all those sensations. Brilliant. Okay. And just sitting there for a moment and noticing what it feels like to have just done that little practice. Again, what would it be like if you started your day, 5 minutes just doing that? Now, as I mentioned before, you might like to just keep still with your eyes closed. There's nothing really to see on the screen at the moment. I'm going to talk you through the next little practice, which is to just explore your thinking. Now, I'm sure all the way through those practices, there'll be a moment when you've wandered off into thoughts. So let's just address that for a moment, okay? So just sitting here, breathing. And I invite you to count your breath. So as you breathe in, breathe 1. As you breathe out, breathe 2. Just count 2. As you breathe in, 3. As you breathe out, 4. Okay, so just connecting with that breath. And as soon as your mind wanders off into a thought, which I'm sure it will do very quickly, we're training something new here, simply just say to your thought with a smile on your face, hello, thought. Okay, so we're very accepting, we're not judgmental, and we just come back to the next number we remember. And as we breathe in, we count the next number and we breathe out again. So keep going. I'm just going to keep talking whilst you're breathing and counting. The point of this is that we endlessly think, okay? We have between 85,000 and 125,000 thoughts a day, many of them repetitive, many of them negative about ourselves or other people. But actually, we don't need to buy into those thoughts. And the less we buy into those negative thoughts, the less we put ourselves into the fight and flight mechanism. So this can be done at any time in the day where you suddenly just notice, where's my head? What am I thinking about? Oh, hello, thought. Smile, just let it go. Come back to the present moment, okay? Back to the next breath. And they also say that we can't be stressed, anxious, angry if we're in a place of gratitude. So right now, just to finish off this practice for today, I'd like to invite you to just think of one good thing right now in your life, okay? Might be a good friend, might be a partner, might be a pet, might be a lovely person that you work with. Maybe you're grateful for having done this practice and learnt something new about breathing and really helping to self-regulate yourself. But as you really think about it, do you notice it also does something to your body? Maybe it brings a smile to your face, maybe it relaxes you a little, maybe you feel a little bit of warmth and opening in your heart space. Gratitude is the antidote to all the stress. So in any moment, you can choose to think of one good thing, feel grateful, and also to smile. Okay. So thank you very much. That's the end of that session. If you would like to just open your eyes, look around, And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask right now. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Emma. Thank you so much. Really enlightening. And as you can see on that final slide there, guys, if you'd like more information about what Emma has just spoken about, feel free to head over to that website. In the meantime, Emma, I do have a few questions, which hopefully we have time for. The first one was recommended reading lists. Are there any books that you'd recommend for these ideas and exercises?
Yes. Okay. So thank you for that question. There's a plethora these days of things to do with mindfulness and meditation. I must say I recommend John Kabat-Zinn, who created MBSR course, which I teach. He's got lots of wonderful books. Wherever you go, there you are is one of them, which is brilliant. And he talks a lot about the power of meditation and mindfulness for really changing habits of a lifetime. And I just really recommend that if people have been interested by this webinar, that they really do explore YouTube videos. You know, there's apps out there you can put on your phone to just do 5 to 10 minute meditations every day. YouTube videos, TEDx, all of that kind of thing.
Wonderful. Thank you, Emma. And finally, best for teens. We spoke about this earlier, didn't we? How does this transition to teenagers in terms of maybe noisy classrooms or students that don't really buy into this as an idea? How do you get them on board, and what activities do you find will be most useful?
I mean, often it's really it's the experience, because who doesn't like to feel calm? So literally, if you are going to say to your students, just for a minute, let's just close our eyes. And it could even be to put a piece of music on, you know, just for 1 minute is just like, and then to talk about that. How do you feel? And obviously choose something calming, not something ravey, but you know, like, how do you feel when you've just stopped for a moment? That's quite interesting, isn't it? Because once they start to realize that, oh, actually, it's quite nice to feel calm, then you can go, and this is another little practice we can do, and just see how you go. There's no forcing to be done. And if nobody wants to do it, they can just sit quietly and just allow the other group to do that. But ironically, by them sitting quietly and watching the others do it, they're already doing it, because they are coming to a place of stillness, a place of quiet. And that's where all the magic starts to happen. And also, the thing about mindfulness is we're not trying to get anywhere. So it's really unlike any other practice and any other thing we do in life. We're not trying to succeed, you know, I'm a good meditator or something like that. It's all about the experience. So if somebody said, God, I couldn't concentrate for more than like 3 seconds before my mind went off into yesterday, that's interesting. Thank you very much for sharing that, is actually the right response. Like, that's fascinating. Aren't you fascinated that at the moment what you're noticing is your mind is very busy? That's good noticing. That's exactly what we're trying to train. We're trying to train your awareness of your inner state. And then offer another practice, you know, just coming to the breath and counting the breaths and just playing around with that. You know, who could get past 5 before their mind wandered off? Who could, you know? And again, it's not a sense of competition. It's more like camaraderie. Like, we're all in this together. There's no one on this planet that doesn't have a busy mind. But with a bit of practice, we get better at it.
Brilliant. Thank you, Emma. I'm going to give you a bit of homework right now. We've got a number of people in the chat saying, hey, can you please just write down the recommended titles that you just mentioned? So during the break, Emma, if you wouldn't mind just writing in the chat the name of that author and the books that you addressed earlier, that'd be much appreciated.
No problem at all. I'll pull a few up as well for everybody.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Emma. Again, I encourage you to read through the messages of goodwill as well in the chat. Some really nice thank you messages for Emma. So guys, we're going to take a quick 5-minute break now. So I encourage you to stretch your legs, go get a brew, a tea, a coffee, a milkshake, anything, a water. Okay. And in the meantime, I'm going to share my screen because we are talking about mindfulness and being at one with oneself. So that brings us on to a very exciting title from Macmillan Education, and that is Learning Well. So sit back, relax, take a 5-minute break, and we'll join you on the other side. Bear with me. I'm just going to see if I shared my sound there, which I didn't. What a schoolboy mistake. So back into the video. Hopefully this works. Enjoy your break, everybody.
Hi everyone! Let's meet the new kids on the block, the Wellies. This is Happy, and these are angry, lonely, and excited. And they are just a few of the big feelings we all experience. The Wellies are here to help you be well, learn well, and teach well. Children with higher social emotional intelligence are more confident and learn more effectively. And an important part of this development is learning to manage big feelings. But that's not always easy. So the Wellies are here to help. Learning Well develops social emotional competencies through appealing stories and mindfulness activities. These are reinforced through the innovative Wellness book, where students gain the language and confidence to label, understand, and manage their big feelings. Communicating in English can be embarrassing or frustrating, but the Wellies are here to help young learners feel happy and proud to communicate with confidence. Thanks to the right combination of fun grammar, vocabulary, and skills practice, as well as plenty of opportunities to use the language in easy-to-set-up speaking activities, Learning Well gives you all the tools to inspire genuine communication. Learning Well also nurtures that all-important love of reading. A unique focus on multiple literacies helps students learn how to select, process, understand, and respond to information in English, whatever the format. And they'll be excited by the different genres and engaging multimedia texts. And what about exam practice? With Learning Well, preparing for exam success is never scary. It's all about building familiarity with key exam formats and consolidating language to build the confidence and techniques needed to do well. But there's more. With Learning Well, students become global citizens. A global focus and 4 types of collaborative project work, creative, research, community, and performance, help students build understanding of other cultures and develop social awareness and skills, empathy, and responsible attitudes so they can interact well with each other, their communities, and the wider world. And don't forget, the Wellies are also here for you, the teachers. Learning Well includes a whole host of training, tips, and strategies. And because we all have big feelings, support for your own wellness and social emotional development to help you be well and teach well. Let's embody what we are teaching, being self-aware, socially and emotionally intelligent, and deeply connected to our own sense of purpose. Because after all, when we nurture well-being, we unlock our own and our students' potential.
Okay, everybody. I think that's about 5 minutes would be my, if I was to guesstimate between that and the video. I hope you had the chance to take in all of those wise words from Emma and are fully on board and ready for our next session. In a moment, we'll be joined on stage by Lorena. And Lorena is going to talk about how you can bring calmness to your classrooms. And what does that mean for all you guys out there? It means happier students and, of course, a happier you. So, Lorena, thanks for joining us. Looking through your bio there, good afternoon. Well, I say good afternoon. Whereabouts in the world are you, Lorena?
Hello, well, I am in Montreal right now. So for me, it's early in the morning. It's 9 o'clock, 9:48.
Wow, a very good morning to you, Lorena. Now, looking through your bio, the thing that sort of jumps out to me there is 25 years of experience in this game we all love and are passionate about. Can you just sum up those 25 years and what's brought you to this moment right now?
Well, I started being a teacher, an English teacher, since I was like 18 years old. So I have always loved teaching, especially young learners. And so they're my passion. I love teaching young learners. I love how they start discovering the world, and that makes me feel like very blessed because I am able to touch their lives, since they are really very young. And obviously to teach them English, knowing that it's going to be a tool that they will use when in their lives, and that's going to be useful when they grow up. That's something that really makes me feel happy for what I do, So
Brilliant, brilliant. And yeah, that passion is palpable. We can all feel it, and I'm certain we all resonate with it as well. Final question, Lorena.
Yes.
Home cooked food or eat out at a restaurant?
Oh, well, I prefer home cooked food, but I like to go out, especially on Sundays, so I don't have to cook. I can relax and do other things.
It's the dishes that are the problem. After you've eaten the food, you've got all that cleaning up to do. Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Enough talk. The stage is all yours. Enjoy your session.
Thank you so much. Okay, so let's share. Okay, can you see my screen now? Perfect. So, hello everyone. I'm so happy to be here with you today. Today, we're going to be talking about home classrooms, happy learners, and happy teachers. Okay, so let's start. So I'm going to start with this quote. We learn better when we are face to face and heart to heart with someone who cares about us. Okay? And this is very important, my dear teachers, because relationships are going to be the key in this webinar. Relationships are crucial to help our students learn and feel happy as they learn too. They are crucial. So let's see how we are able to build these relationships, okay? So when the moment we are born, we need to survive, right? Because we cannot survive by ourselves. So that's why our brain is a social organ, because it needs others to survive. I cannot, as a baby, feed myself or change my diaper or put on some clothes. I don't know how. So I need others. So that's why we attach to the people who take care of us. Yes? We attach to them because we need them to survive. And from them, we also learn other things that we're going to need to survive, like language, the rules, how to behave, how to be part of that family or that community. If I belong because I know all of these things, then that means that I am going to survive. And the brain wants us to survive, okay? So we make these attachments because we need to belong, because we need to survive, all right? And so when we go to school, we continue forming these attachments because we also need to belong to a group, to a school, to a group of friends, yes? Because we need also to survive in school, yes? If we don't belong, if we feel rejected, we suffer. And then we feel big feelings. And then the brain thinks there is a threat, and then it thinks that you're in danger, that you're not going to be able to survive. So that's why we also need to make attachments at school, all right? So when we go to school, we attach to our teacher the same way we attach to our primary caregivers at home, all right? This is super important to know. Okay, now, there are different types of attachment that we form with our primary caregivers, all right? And as I was telling you, we attach to the teacher the same way we attach to our parents or to the persons that are taking care of us at home, all right? Now, knowing that our children come to school with a certain type of attachment, we're going to be able to understand a little bit better why they behave in a certain way when they are with us in school or in the classroom, all right? Okay, so what are these types of attachments that children can develop? The first one is a secure attachment. These are the children that grow up in their families feeling safe, knowing that they belong, that all of their survival needs are covered, clothes, food, sleep, love, attention, etc. So they grow up learning that they can trust the adults that take care of them. If they trust the adults that take care of them at home, then when they go to school and they see an adult, they say, oh, I know these people. These big people are people that I can trust. So they go to school, they feel happy at school. They are eager to learn because they feel safe with those adults. So they participate, they pay attention in the class, they engage the activities. They are super happy in the classroom. But what happens when children grow up in their families feeling a little bit insecure? Because nobody pays attention to their needs. So they learn that they have to do that by themselves. Or sometimes they pay attention to their needs and sometimes they don't. So they don't know if this time they can trust them. So they are always like anxious and seeing if that person is or not going to attend their feelings. Yes. So that makes them feel that they cannot trust the adults that take care of them. So when they go to school and they see an adult, they are like, should I trust in that person or not? Because in my experience, I cannot trust big people. Yeah. So they come to school and they feel anxious and they struggle with big feelings. Maybe they feel sad because they don't want to be there, because they miss their mom, for example. They feel angry because they left them there. They feel scared because this is a new place that I don't know, with people I don't know. And I am in a classroom with a teacher that is speaking a different language that I don't know. So this is very scary. Maybe I feel lonely because I have no friends, etc., etc., etc. So if we understand how our students come to the classroom, then we can help them feel better. Yes, so that's why I'm telling you a little bit about how we form this attachment, and these relationships are so important. And so when we are feeling these big feelings, our brain goes into survival mode. Uh-oh, I am feeling these big feelings. There is a threat. Oh no! Let's activate the fight, flight, or freeze response. Because we feel stressed, we feel unsafe at school. And when we activate the fight, flight, or freeze response, we may behave in different ways in the classroom, all right? So, if a child that is feeling stressed because he doesn't feel safe at school activates the fight response, then that child might misbehave, disobey, have tantrums, or defiant behaviors. If they activate the flight response, they might ignore you, they might not look at you, refuse to talk to you, or try to escape, or even escape from the classroom. Yes? If they activate the freeze response, then they don't want to participate. They don't want to engage in any of the activities that you propose. And this doesn't have to do with you specifically. It has to do with the way they learn to relate to others. Yes? Okay. So if we know that 4 out of 10 students in the classroom are going to have an insecure attachment, then that means that 4 out of 10 students in your classroom are going to be misbehaving, are going to be not paying attention to you, are going to be looking, at the window, daydreaming. They're not going to respond when you ask them something. Yes? And so you can feel that you're losing group control. And that creates chaos in the classroom, right? So suddenly I have 4 that are playing and standing, and some don't want to engage and participate, and you're like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And you also feel under a lot of stress because it's hard to teach them. You are not going to be able to finish your lesson plan. You are losing group control, and you feel stressed. Plus, your inner battery is totally drained. I cannot cope with this. So what do we need to do? Emma just shared with us amazing strategies to calm down. Yes? We need to calm down. We need to stop. We need to remember that what we need to do for our students to feel safe in the classroom is to create a secure attachment from day one so that our students feel safe. It doesn't matter the type of attachment they develop with the adults they grew up with. Yes? They may have felt insecure at home, but you have to make sure that in your classroom and at school, they are safe with you, that you are an adult they can trust. That is what they have to feel. Because if they trust you, my dear teachers, if they feel safe with you in the classroom, and they feel loved, accepted, respected, valued, then they are going to feel safe, and then there is not going to be any threat. They are not going to feel stress, and then they're going to relax, and they are going to be ready to learn. Yes? So that's why we have to create a secure attachment with our students. Okay. So We're in this moment in which everything is a chaos. And as I was telling you, we need to calm down. Now, first the teacher, if we calm down, we're teaching the brain to pause for a moment, to think clear before acting or reacting. I cannot respond in a proper way when I am feeling stressed, because I have all these feelings inside me that are going to make me respond maybe impulsively and in a way that I don't want. So that's why I have to take a moment to calm down. If I take a moment to calm down, I reduce the stress and anxiety. I understand there is no threat. I feel safe. And if I feel safe, then I can get everything back under control, and I'm ready to teach. And my students are also going to be ready to learn. Because let me tell you something, we need to do this ourselves first, because we're role models. So then our students learn how to do it too, because they learn from us and they are very young. So we are teaching them. We are teaching with our actions as well. All right? So it's important to calm down, to reduce stress, to feel safe, and to continue, right? Okay. So learning to calm down when we feel stress is a skill we need to develop. It's called self-management, and is one of the 5 competencies of social and emotional learning. Okay? Since this is a skill, we need to practice and practice and practice over and over again. It's not something that we're going to be doing just one day. We have to do it every day. So we have to be consistent. If we do it every day, it's going to help your students feel calm and relaxed and feel safe with you. And it's also going to help you to recharge. Okay? So it's a win-win for everybody. So include these well-being activities that I'm going to share with you as part of your daily routine. Well, at the beginning of the class, to help students reconnect and set their minds after recess, PE class, or any other class, they come and then, they come back and then they have the English class, but they were somewhere before. Set their mind, let's reconnect, because they come like, running and things, and they are not ready to start the class. First, they need to calm down and reconnect, right? In the middle of the class, to help students reconnect after an intense learning period. You're teaching language or vocabulary, they have to listen to the word, repeat it, and chorally, individually. They have to do drills, everything. They have to pay attention to you. Oh my God, I'm tired. Yes, then we have to reconnect after a learning intense period. So you do one of these activities. Or at the end of the class, to relax before leaving the classroom, or to set their minds so they can start a new class. Okay? So it's important to know that you can do this in 1 or 2 minutes. Remember that our very young learners have a very short span of attention. So don't do these activities to make them last 10 minutes, because you're going to lose them. 1 or 2. So it's very easy to include these activities as part of your daily routine. Write them in your lesson plan so you don't forget about it. Okay? So this is what you can do. 5-finger breathing. Okay, so children are very concrete, so we need to give them concrete activities so they learn how to calm down, all right? It goes like this. Show me your hand. Let's breathe in and out as we trace our hand. Breathe in, out, in, out. And you see, they breathe in and out 5 times in less than a minute. Okay, let's continue with the class. Stretch and breathe. Okay, everybody, everybody's like, oh. And then you say, okay, everybody, breathe in, stretch, breathe out. That's another way. Slow walking and music. You play some music and then you ask your students to stand up and they are going to be walking, focusing on right and left, okay? So I breathe in and then I move right, my right arm and my right leg. Then I breathe out and move the other leg and the other arm. And then you say right, left. Okay, so you breathe in and out, saying right and left as they walk. Okay, that is another one you can do. Breathing bodies. Okay, so you can ask your students to lay down on the floor. For example, if you have a place to do your circle time, you can also use this one for this activity. And breathing bodies, just because children like toys. And we have to make it fun. Okay, so you can have little bodies like this one, or maybe if you don't have them, you can use bean bags or something like that. So you ask the children to put the body on top of their tummy, and then they have to see how their tummy moves up and down as they breathe in and out. Okay? That's another thing that you can do. Or breathing bubbles. Okay, so this one, they love it. And it can create a very nice atmosphere in your classroom. And maybe your students are also going to be waiting for this time to come during the day. All right? Breathing bubbles. So this is what you can do. You bring some bubbles, and then you are going to tell your students, okay, I'm going to blow bubbles, and you have to breathe in, and then blow the air. So let's see how many bubbles you can burst, okay? And they are breathing in and out, okay? And trying to burst the bubbles. Let's do it. Let's do it, my dear teachers, okay? So, and they are going to be, yes. And they love this activity because it's fun. Brain gym. Brain gym is to cross your body from left to right to reconnect, and you can do it with music, okay? So you can play some music that they like, classical music, and what they need to do is to cross their body, and you can put the steps, and they stand up, and they move, or they can snap and touch their nose and their ear. Or they can put their right hand on their left leg, their left hand on their right leg, and they are dancing, okay? There is another one. Hug yourself. Okay, everybody, after they worked very hard on a project, on an activity, everybody, let's give ourselves a hug. Oh, well done, well done. Congratulations. That's another one. And the last one I want to share with you today is a calming chant. This calming chant is a chant that Lina and I created for the wellness books that are part of the Learning Well book. And it goes like this. You ask your students to stand up and you tell them, make a pause, there's a cause. You're in charge to recharge. Walk around to calm down as you breathe in and out. So they are walking, and then you tell them, breathe in, arms up, and then you say, breathe out, arms down. You do this several times, and then you tell them, all is well, hear the bell, and then you can ring a bell softly. Now sit down, hands on lap. And then after this calming chant, they are ready, they are focused, they are reconnected, and you can continue with your class or introducing a new activity. Okay? I also have some additional ideas for you, my dear teachers, because when we are trying to include these activities in the classroom, we also have to remember that we need to set rules and routines. Setting rules and routines also make our students feel safe because they know what is going to happen. So if you always include the activities that I am telling you, and they are part of your lesson plan, you choose them and you write them and you make sure that you do them, then they are going to know, oh, it's time for calming activity. Yay, it's time for bubbles. Yay! They're going to wait for that and they're going to feel safe because they know what's going on in the class. Also, I told you, relationships are super important. So make them feel like home. Make your classroom be a big family where everybody belongs. Everybody is seen. Everybody is respected. Everybody is valued. Make them feel at home. Love them. Love your students. They are so young. And they need you. Be there when they need you. When they need you to hold them, to tell them everything is going to be okay, to teach them with love. And yes, I was reading a question. Yes, sometimes when children are feeling big feelings, you will have to use language one, their native tongue, so they can tell you and you can tell them how they feel, and then you can tell them what they can do. All right? It's okay. Use a calm voice in the classroom. I know that sometimes when everything is chaotic, we are like, yes, but if we raise the tone of our voice, then everybody's like, oh, they feel scared. And then they're going to feel stressed. And it's going to be a never-ending circle. So use a calm voice. If you want to call your students' attention, ring a bell or any other instrument that you have handy, or play some music. You can play the same music and train them in a way so when they listen to specific music, they know that it's time to clean up. They know it's time to stand up. They know it's time to go and get their lunch boxes instead of, instead of raising your voice. Okay? Focus on their strengths. Children feel unsafe many times because they are scared to lose your love. They are scared to lose your love because if you don't love them, that means that you're not going to make them feel part of you and your group. They're going to feel rejected, and then they are going to feel stressed and they're going to be misbehaving. And if they know that they are making mistakes and that you get angry because they are not doing it well, then they feel super scared to lose you, to lose your love. So, hey, with love, it's okay to make mistakes. We're all learning. We're developing skills. You're doing it great. And focus on what they, oh, but this, you did this great. Good job. Congratulations. Yes. It's important to create a peace corner if you can in your classroom. So it's a time to go and in that corner to sit and to relax and to calm down for a second when your student is feeling really very angry or they are feeling a big feeling. In the Learning Well books, Lina and I put a lot of ideas so you can create peace corners and how to use them, all right? And play with them. Play with them like with these things or with bubbles. Play with them. Make them feel happy in a familiar environment. Yes, they love toys. They love to play because the brain learns better when it is playing because it doesn't feel stressed. And when we play, we don't feel stressed. We feel happy, right? And be flexible and patient. Remember, it is a skill that we need to teach our students, and we're also role models, so we're modeling them all the time how to behave and how to calm down. So it's a skill we need to do over and over again. Okay, and now, if there are still children showing big feelings in the class, after doing all these activities, take a moment to talk to them and do the following. Ask them to recognize the emotion they're feeling. How do you feel? If they don't know the word, okay, I see you're feeling frustrated, or I see you're feeling angry, okay? It's important to label the emotions so we're able to manage it. Remember, these are competencies we're developing on social and emotional learning skills. And then tell them, where do you feel that emotion in your body? Where do you feel it? By the way, emotions are automatic responses to something that is happening inside or outside of us. Yes, it's something that we cannot control. It's the way our body reacts to something. Yes, the feeling is the name we put to that emotion. If I'm feeling angry, where do you feel it? Here. Okay, that emotion, that automatic response that you feel it here, oh, when you feel it here, is called angry. Feeling is like the name we give to the emotion. Yes? Okay, so when we're able to name how we feel and where we feel it, then we're able to manage the emotion. And then we have to recuperate from the emotion. And there's when we have to do these activities, the calming activities that I'm telling you and that, but we have to train the brain to do them before it happens. So that's why we have to do it every day. So when they feel angry, they know, oh, yes, my brain knows that when I feel stressed, I need to calm down. The brain will know, okay? So, okay, let's breathe in and out. Take that emotion out of your body. You don't want it inside because it hurts. Go to the peace corner, calm down, okay? And that's it for today, my dear teachers. Remember, your students may forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. I really hope that these activities that I share with you today are something that you can implement in your classroom right away. And I wish you really the best. Thank you so much for taking the time to register and to connect and to be here with me today. Bye. Thank you.
Lorena, thank you so much for that. Very insightful. And I've got a few quick fire questions, which I'd love to fire your way. A number of them centered around this idea of teenagers. Again, you referenced their young learners, primary age. So how do these activities, these techniques, how do they translate towards teenagers as well?
Well, I think that you have to choose which activities to do with your teenagers. Obviously, maybe you're not going to do the bubbles one. Although, let me tell you, a long time ago, I was teaching 18-year-olds because I was giving them the teacher's course, 18-year-olds, and they all love to play. They all love feeling like children, you know? So you have to know, you have to know your students and see which are the activities that you can do with them or not. But I think that what you can do is, as I was telling you, from these activities that I share with you, and knowing that, first of all, knowing that your teenagers come in the classroom with defiant behaviors, misbehaving, not paying attention, and that because they feel stressed. Yes, and so if we know that, and it has nothing to do with us, but with how they feel, then we know that if we help them feel safe with us, and if we help them calm down and feel that it's okay, nothing's going to happen, and that you're teaching them, you're there to help them improve or to tell them something that is going to make their lives better, like learning English. If you know that, then just don't forget to include these activities in your lesson plan. I know that when you're teaching teenagers, you have less time than when you're teaching preschoolers, right? But it's just going to take a minute or two from your class teachers. When you're feeling them, like after you presented a language, they are tired, they're not paying attention. Okay, everybody, let's breathe, let's reconnect, everybody, breathe in, stretch, breathe out. Okay, let's continue. And you did it in less than a second, yes? So just try to include them as part of your routine all the time, and they will start feeling better. And then they will say, hey, in this class, this teacher care about us because after working on the book or after an exam or something, this teacher makes me relax, or before the exam or whatever, she makes me relax or he makes me relax, and I feel so happy. And they're going to start thanking you because you care about them. And there's when they're going to start trusting in you because you're going to treat them with love and respect for who they are. So I think it's just include these activities in your daily routine.
Brilliant. Yeah, and I love that idea of just including it for 1-2 minutes every day, becomes part of your routine. And there was someone in the chat there that wrote, regardless of age, you know, students enjoy having fun, and also taking that moment to realize that beyond just the textbook and the classroom objectives, the curriculum, you're taking time for themselves as well. And that's a really refreshing approach. Thank you so much, Lorena.
You're welcome, Lou. And thank you so much. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. So guys, stick around for the next 5-6 minutes because leading on from those fantastic presentations from both Lorena and Emma slightly earlier, it brings me to this wonderful series we have at Macmillan Education, and that's Learning Well. And Learning Well encompasses everything our two expert speakers have been speaking about for the past 90 minutes. And that's mindfulness, wellness, and making sure at the heart of your students' English journey, your students feel good, they feel happy. And also a caveat to that is also the teachers as well, because you guys are the ones delivering this message of English around the world. And Learning Well does a really good job of including the teacher on this mindfulness journey of teaching English. You can pretty much guess from the title that it puts at the heart of its core learning comprehensive social emotional learning curriculum. So these colorful characters right in front of you, I'm not going to introduce them. They're going to do it themselves. These are the wellies. There we've got embarrassed, scared. All of these have names associated, of course, with an emotion. Now, for good or for bad, positive or negative, they're all emotions that our students are privy to, okay? And these are brought to the forefront of the learning journey. Now, of course, you've got your comprehensive syllabus of grammar approaches, multiple literacy styles in terms of the content delivery as well. But again, as I mentioned, all of this is at the forefront in terms of mindfulness and making sure that students feel comfortable with these emotions that they might be feeling, but they don't really know how to express themselves because they're never really exposed or taught to be at one with these feelings that they feel. So Learning Well, I encourage you all to take a look. In a moment in the chat, you'll have an opportunity to explore and delve into the world of Learning Well very much deeper than I can ever explain. So we'll do that just in a moment. There'll be a, there you go in the chat. I can see it right there. There's a showroom so you yourselves can go and explore the world of Learning Well. So it's in the chat right now, everybody. I encourage you to click on it, regardless of whether you're going to have a look now or maybe later today or even tomorrow. Get that clicked on. Keep that tab open on your laptop, your tablet, your phone, and explore. Have a good look at all that Learning Well has to offer. Now, this perky little yellow fella who's just appeared on my screen, that is Happy, of course. Now, in the world of Learning Well, again, it's going to inspire that genuine communication. There's lots of collaborative activities, group work, presentations, exam preparation, of course, everything you would expect. And it guides citizens through the world they live in and really does encourage them to be citizens of the world that they live in, whether that be a sustainable vision for their future, inclusivity, or just being a good person. All of these sort of narratives and morals and methods are shared within the Learning Well series. And of course, at its heart, as I mentioned, it's all about positivity towards themselves, one another, and being at one with their emotions. So again, click on that link that you can see in the chat. And if you do wish to get in touch with your local Macmillan representative, there is another link in the chat. I don't want them to get lost in the shuffle there, but there are 2 links in there. Feel free to give it a click, input your details, and we will make sure that your local representative from Macmillan Education gets in touch for any queries, questions that you might have. And of course, do not forget that you can get further information via the QR code there about the Learning Well series. Each level of Learning Well, there's 6 levels, American English, from pre-A1 all the way up to B1, and it all comes with this wellness book of fun. 2 words there I really like, wellness and fun. They tie in nicely together. So before I bid you farewell, let me just remind you of the goodie bag, your virtual goodie bag, which will be making its way to you round about now. But of course, there's other elements to that goodie bag, which you will also have to wait for. And that includes the recording of today's sessions and also your certification. Okay, but in the goodie bag itself, from today, you will see the bookmarks and of course, some more training content related to mindfulness. So before I do say goodbye, what I would love you to do in the chat for one last time, get those fingers working, is, before I do that, let me just remind you of what's coming up tomorrow. Day 4, Thursday, the 13th of February, we're going to be looking at critical thinking, which once we've done mindfulness and being comfortable with yourself, I think is a really nice transition to tomorrow's session. So look out for that tomorrow. Some exciting speakers on critical thinking. And get those fingers ready, I just said it. Name one key takeaway from today's session. It might be a buzzword, it might be a phrase, it might be something that you're going to go delve and research more into. But in the chat box, type away. I'm going to read as many as I can as quickly as possible. Breathe is a word. They're inspiring. Meditation, stop. I like that, stop. Take a moment. A thank you there as well. Now and here. Oh, I love that, now and here. Because again, we do have difficulty doing that, don't we? Just appreciating the now. We either dwell on the past or we're thinking about the future. Well-being, relax, connection and warmness, breathing and mindfulness, self-regulation, pray and relief. The body keeps the score. I like that, Daphne. Very nice. Lovely stuff, everybody. It is, what time is it here in Vietnam? It is, gosh, it's 10:30. It's way past my bedtime. So I'm going to bid everyone a farewell. Thank you for hanging out with myself and the team here at Macmillan Education. I mentioned it earlier. You guys are as much a part of this session as the speakers that give up their free time to be here with you today. So we do appreciate your interaction. The way you do communicate with us in the chat is much appreciated. Enjoy tomorrow's session and the Friday, and of course next week as well. So goodbye from me, and see you guys sometime soon.